Welcome to Real People, Real Voices. I'm your host, James Jackson.
I'm your co-host, Pastor Wayne Moore.
Always a pleasure to host with you.
Always good to be in your presence, man.
Thank you. It's going to be a great show today.
Great show. Going to get some great information for the city of Indianapolis, and hopefully that people will tune in and see what we got to say today.
Yeah, and we want to thank our sponsors.
Yes, we do. Lee Cossack and Crawley. We have the Fervent Prayer Child Care Center doing a great job. We also have Marion County Health Department, who's sticking with us and doing some things here in the city of Indianapolis. And we're grateful for our sponsors. If you have a desire to be one, just contact TV40.
Yep, and thank you for tuning in on Friday nights at 9:30 and Sundays at 5:30 p.m. You know, Dr. Moore is so amazing and a great blessing that people can watch this show twice a week.
Twice a week on Fridays and on Sundays.
And if they miss it, they can go to YouTube.
Yeah, like us on YouTube.
Yeah, subscribe to our YouTube channel and like us on Facebook.
Yeah, and like us wherever you can find us, really. But it's good to be here today, man. We got a great show. We have the senator with us today.
Senator Jim Merritt.
Yes, he's running for mayor. He's the Republican choice, I believe. And he's running, and we're going to see what he has to say and tell us why he wants to be mayor. Hopefully he can make Indianapolis a much better place than what it already is.
Yeah, some of the biggest issues that we're facing are potholes, and of course, moreover that, I would say, are the homicides, rising crime.
Yeah, potholes are with us every year, so
Yeah.
that's really no big issue with me.
Yeah.
But there's some other issues that are very much pressing that I think any mayoral candidate need to be addressing.
Yeah, we're said to be, as a big city, 10th as far as the most dangerous city to live in.
Yeah, we've come up
That's
from
not
13. That's not good.
That's not good. So we're going to talk more about that with Senator Jim Merritt. Hope you'll stay with us. And again, we appreciate you tuning in. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Real People, Real Voices, and we're joined by Senator Jim Merritt.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to the program.
We appreciate it. We do.
And we'll just get right to it so we maximize our time. There's several things that we want to talk about. You're a senator, of course, serving the state of Indiana. How long?
29 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a lot of experience.
A lot of experience. And I am taking those relationships and the contacts and the understanding of the system to the mayor's office next year with me.
And certainly that race is on.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. And there are just a couple months left, a little bit of August, in September and October, and a little bit of November, and we're here. It's not too far in the future.
Let's talk about some of the things you hope to do. And Dr. Moore and I were just talking about the fact that Indianapolis, being one of the largest cities in America, we've also earned a very unsavory designation as being 10th as one of the most dangerous large cities to live in. And public safety being, as we understand it, one of the most basic responsibilities of local government. How do you plan to deal with the issues we're facing?
Well, public safety is job number one, and the first day that we're in office in January, we will name a public safety director who has expertise in fire and in EMS, and especially in police and law enforcement. I think it's incredibly important for the mayor to be working with that individual on a daily basis. And you're right, violent crime, murder, crime itself has grown, reported and unreported. And so my number one priority will be crime and prevention, and just the idea of that if Indianapolis is going to be the great city that we think it can be, people have to feel safe and they have to be safe.
Mm-hmm. I was going through the budget that Mayor Hawk set, the incumbent. He submitted a budget to the council. And I was going through there, and there's a lot of increases for public safety. Mm-hmm. And so it appears that the solution is hiring more police officers, investing more money into public safety, although over $700 million of a $1.2 billion budget already goes to public safety measures. Are you thinking a little further than just money? I mean, what are some other things?
I think we need a more comprehensive approach to it. Right now, in an IMPD's a police officer's day, about 80% of the day is paperwork, and 20% is law enforcement. I want to flip that. I want to make it 80% law enforcement or more. I think that when you have somebody that is a deputy mayor, public safety director, who has the strength in the office and who has the expertise, I think putting a plan together for the city of Indianapolis to be safe is central. And I want to get back to the part where when Mayor Ballard was in office, of police officers really, and there's been talk about beat policing, but I want to get into the point where police officers are going and talking with citizens and being at homeowners association meetings and constituents, residents, actually knowing the beat officer.
How much are you planning to use of the Ballard Blueprint?
Dr. Moore, we will look at a lot of what Greg Ballard did as mayor, and from economic development to infrastructure. Every pothole is filled by June 1st when Mayor Ballard was in office. The discipline of that office, the ability for the cabinet to have the freedom to try new things. We will have a mayor's night out once a month, all 4 years of my term in office, and we will take the successes of the Ballard administration and either make them better or bring them back and make them better.
Question then, the Ballard administration is going to ride on the dovetail of the Merritt administration is going to ride on the dovetail of the Ballard administration.
In some aspects,
Some
yeah.
aspects. So let's be creative as a mayor. What are you going to do creative as a mayor, aside from the Ballard blueprint? What are you going to do?
Well, first of all, I think it's really important that on day one that we have someone that has a civil engineer background as the director of the Department of Public Works. That individual will direct a expert team to go out and analyze all streets in Marion County and come back to the mayor and say, this is what it will take to bring our streets up to good condition, and this is what it's going to cost. We will share that in a very transparent way, and we will create a capital asset management plan for the next 25 years. I think a Merritt administration will be comprehensive in our approach at looking at the malls, Castleton Mall, Washington Mall, Lafayette Square Mall, the downtown mall. These are places in our communities that need a lot of help and a lot of analysis and a lot of study, and we will look at it in a comprehensive way. Right now, there's just a lot of picking away at it, and Mayor Ballard used to say, I want to make decisions on a 40-year, what's going to be going on in 40 years. My idea is, how can we build towards 25 years, and how can we set our streets and our all the different infrastructure pieces, and really life itself in Indianapolis, it being a great city and improving on it on a constant basis for the next 25 years.
Well, there's a few other things we want to talk to you about in the next segment, education and how you want to deal with that. Mayors are involved in that.
Grassroots community.
Yes.
As well as the food desert problem, particularly on the Far East Side where I'm pastoring. We have a lot of food deserts out there. But before we go to break, real quick, the crime prevention monies. $3 million in the budget currently, $250,000 added to what was there. During the Ballard years, it was $5 million adjustment to the county option income tax, dropped it a little bit. Do you see that trying to expand that and use it in a different way?
I like the $5 million figure from Mayor Ballard's time in office. I believe that we need a county-wide approach to it. We will, as my administration, we will be fair to all comers who might have a great suggestion. And when we talk about food desert, that is a part of crime prevention. So I'm looking forward to that.
All right, glad to have you. Got much more coming. We'll be back in just a few minutes after these messages. Welcome back to Real People, Real Voices, and we're joined by Senator Jim Merritt, who's running for mayor for Indianapolis.
Yes, sir.
And one of the questions before we get to education, why do you want to be mayor? You're a senator, you've done a good job, people obviously love you, they like you, you're electable. Why be mayor?
Pastor Jackson, I grew up here, and I love Indianapolis. I have a passion for Indianapolis. And I've always thought that people would gravitate to Indianapolis and stay in Indianapolis to raise a family and be safe and enjoy the city. And in November this past year, I started feeling as though that situation, that feeling in Indianapolis has left us. And I felt like my leadership could really bring us forward and bringing people together in a collaborative way.
In conjunction with that, your legislative record. And legislative record is a problem, I'm hearing. What can you do to improve on that ideology of your legislative record that's in the community that will probably ensure you a greater chance to become mayor of Indianapolis?
Well, I kind of I don't agree that my legislative record is going to be difficult for me. I've worked in the poverty space. We're going to talk about food deserts. I've worked on hunger issues for decades. Worked on school lunches, making sure the federal government knew what they were doing, and anything from homelessness to abandoned homes to relative poverty and understanding what is going on in the city of Indianapolis and other urban areas around the state has, I believe, been a hallmark of my career. I wrote the bill that dealt with, it was the first prevention of child abuse with the kid's first license plate. I wrote the Lifeline Law. I wrote the Safe Haven Law. These are all issues that deal with children and understanding what people are going through in their lives. So I will stand on my record, and I believe in my record, and I think my record at the State House will help me be a better mayor.
Okay. And then in conjunction with that as well, legislative ideology and local ideology, I mean, that's going to be a tremendous transition for you. How do you think you're going to?
Well, it's interesting you asked that, Dr. Moore, because last year the mayor and the city council went back to their budget 8 different times to change the budget. We can't do that in the state of Indiana. The governor has a little flexibility with the budget, but our 2-year budget is set, and it doesn't seem as though the city, county council, and the mayor have a set budget, and that concerns me. And we will, when I'm mayor, we will set a budget, and we will work towards that budget, and not have the going back to the citizen's wallet every so once in a while. I just don't think that works.
At least 3 times a year after the budget.
3 times.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes it's that. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I mean, a budget is a budget, and it's not ironclad, I don't guess, with some administrations. But it would be nice to have a budget that suggests that we have everything in it that we need when we stamp it for approval.
That's exactly right.
And be able to utilize it. I understand that. But that has been a concern that I've heard and hear. How can we bring it to transition to where it works?
Yes.
And I think it's a legitimate question.
Well, I do too. And if we, in the state government, we put a cushion of $2 billion in a $31 or $32 million budget,
right.
And we toe the line on that budget. And I believe in the city of Indianapolis we should do that as well.
Okay.
Education.
Education.
I read somewhere a few years ago, most mayors want to turn traditional public schools into non-traditional public schools. That's not to say that you would do that, but what are your thoughts with education in Indianapolis?
Well, I think that education is, number one, the soul of a community. That is the culture of a community, and it also is an enormous. It's enormous economic development factor in our city, and so The mayor needs to be right in the middle of it. I have a program called Merritt Star Reader, where I go out and read to fourth graders in my Senate district, and so it really makes a difference when officials are right in the middle of schools, and I plan as mayor to do that.
And Dr. Moore, we certainly are seeing a lot of activity in the community. Of course, folks are going to have to go out here and make a decision in November. What are you hearing with regard to how the race is shaping up so far?
What I'm hearing is how the race is shaping up from my perspective is that there is the incumbent in many cases that I'm hearing should be somewhat concerned. And I'm hearing it not from all levels, but the level I operate in, and that is the grassroots level. They really feel that they have been forgotten about because of the high scale of the extended downtown and economic development, which sounds like it might be pretty much the same coming up if incumbent goes back in, because you have over $2 billion worth of work that is going to be done here in the state, all around the state, and mainly in Indianapolis and Marion County. So, but that's what I'm hearing, and what I hear does not necessarily mean that it's all true. But the communities are very concerned about being left out of the process of understanding that we're here too, and there are things that need to be done in our communities that are not being done. I'm hearing that street lights are just not that which can pacify a community. So that's where we are. And I'm hoping that whatever this race brings to us, that it will also bring the economic development. It will also bring public safety at a greater level. That it will also bring not only that, but it would also bring true and authentic engagement. And the engagement in communities is not as authentic as it should be in many cases.
Dr. Moore, a mayor administration will have a deputy mayor for education. The mayor of Indianapolis is in charge of the second largest public school system, if you will, that being the charter schools. And I believe we have 40 in Marion County. We will be the sponsoring of those schools. I'm concerned when a place like Lighthouse High School closes, and those juniors that graduated in May don't have anywhere to go, and maybe they'll possibly drop out. I'm concerned when Marion, the charter school, throws in the towel on July 31st, and kids who thought they were going to Marion charter school don't have any place to go.
Right.
We need predictability. We need a mayor who is willing to talk about and feel good about pre-K. The pre-K seats on the way are half filled right now. We need a mayor that needs to be omnipresent and in the middle of education, and that's what I will do.
Good.
In the time we have left, food deserts, as they've been called, federally designated food deserts, not just on the Far East Side, but in different areas in Indianapolis. What are your thoughts?
Well, we saw Cleo's house with Flanner House open just recently, and I love the model there. There's a food distributor by the name of Under the Sun, and they capture food that is still fresh and still saleable, if you will. And that is what makes Cleo's such a great place for individuals in the neighborhood to go shop in. We need 30 of those. I believe in the corner grocery store. I believe in putting together a system where food can be taken to senior citizens in food deserts. I disagree with the idea of lift tickets for people to be leaving the community. I believe that we should have Food Rescue, which is an organization that they teach kids in school the value of food, and they take the unused, uneaten food off trays and they give it to food pantries. I think that we need urban farmers to come in, and we've talked to two already, to play a role in filling the gap, filling the need in food deserts. There are a lot of things we can do, and I've got experience in this, and I'm just so anxious to participate in as mayor.
And one of the things I would ask you, Senator Merritt, with your relationships that you have with the state, would that possibly, should you be elected, put Indianapolis on a fast path to solve some of these problems?
Right. You look at in one example in Elkhart, Indiana, 2-lane street, mile long, is funded out of the gas tax money as just like Keystone Avenue was 6 lanes and a mile long. That is unfair to Indianapolis. That's what we will go to the legislature and start working on next year, that we can get a better and a better chunk of the pie, a larger amount of money, because fairness has to rule. And Indianapolis, in lots of respects, is it's the motor for Indiana, and everything feeds off Indianapolis, and our streets have to be not perfect, but in good condition. And most important, our enforcement, our law enforcement officers have to be trained, better recruitment, just a better organized IMPD.
Well, thank you. You've been a great guest.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Dr. Moore.
And thank you all for joining us. We appreciate you so much, and we'll see you next time.